Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another one of my Gay Gamer video podcasts. To start with, a quick movie review. I went to the movies. I had wanted to see Suspiria, because Suspiria was supposed to open on October 26th, except I never saw any listings for it in my AMC app, and I even set a reminder to let me know when tickets go on sale, and it never did. But when I checked, like, MoviePhone.com, it's playing in, like, 3 theaters across the whole of the United States. So, one of which happens to be in New York City. But I'm like, oh, okay. So it's a very limited release, and I think it's supposed to open wider next week, so hopefully next week I'll find it. Although, I did notice when I checked my AMC app and I checked reminders, the reminder had disappeared. So I'm sort of like, is this a movie? I'm wondering if Suspiria is going to be the first movie that I actually have to pay for because it won't be playing at an AMC theater. I have worried about this, but I feel like AMC theaters, they do get the somewhat more indie films, and you have to be like a really obscure indie to not show up at an AMC theater. And I feel like Suspiria is not that indie, so it should be there. But because I'd only seen 3 movies this month, which would make them about like just under $7 a piece, which is fine, that's a perfectly wonderful price, I still like to see at least 4 movies so that I can say I got my $20 worth and they were $5 a piece. You know, so I went to see First Man in IMAX, no less. Which was basically just because I was like, you know what, I want my money's worth. So I like to see, like, all my AMC movies in, like, the fancy theaters with the recliners and in 3D. And now I like IMAX because now that I know that IMAX isn't the drive-in movie screen that I remember from decades ago, it's just a proper large movie screen. So I was slightly off-center because I missed in the app when they show you the picture of here's the screen and here's all the seats, pick your seat. I picked what looked like it was in the center, but it actually turned out to just be like 3 seats off, from 2 or 3 seats off from the center. The guy over next to me on my left had the better seat. But I was just close enough that it was filling my field of vision as a movie screen should. So it was great. I mean, the movie's actually really good. It's about, you know, the space race and Neil Armstrong becoming the first man on the moon. And I had heard that IMAX was the way to go because they did film, like, the space stuff with IMAX cameras. So, and all the space stuff was great. It looked amazing. The Earthbound stuff where there was, like, the shaky, wobbly handheld camera and extreme close-ups on people's faces, that was a little overwhelming. But it was still a good movie, and IMAX was a really good way to see it. And that ticket cost, like, I think $24 or something, so that's a good deal for $5. Although I still don't understand why Ryan Gosling is popular. I find him weirdly off-putting. And I think that's also kind of the point, because he's always cast as these characters who are, like, moody and off-putting and, like, kind of dicks. So it's weird. Like, people love him, and I guess he's a good actor, but it's just his whole personality is so off-putting to me that, like, I just don't find him appealing. I kind of think all the characters he plays are, like, dicks. Which is also weird when it's something like La La Land where the woman's supposed to fall madly in love with him. It's like, why are you in love with him? He's a complete a-hole. Whatever. You're on your own, girl. As for gaming, I wanted to mention this, actually, a few episodes ago, but I kept forgetting. Remember, in a previous episode, when I complained about how my PlayStation 4 would not wake up anymore, and I would have to shut my PlayStation 4 off completely and then boot it back up, because if I put it to sleep, it wouldn't wake up and I would have to shut it off, and then it would have to turn back on, and then it would have to check the hard drive and go through the whole rigmarole, and it just adds more time, and it's really annoying. looking around for the possible solutions, nothing seemed like it was going to actually work, and there was a thing where it said, well, update the firmware on your TV. But my television doesn't let me manually update or search for an update, it just sort of automatically does it. And what happened was, after a little while, I turned on the TV and got a pop-up that said, hey, we just updated your TV firmware, FYI. And I said, ooh. So the next time I played PlayStation, I put it to sleep to see. And sure enough, it woke up and everything was back to normal and it was glorious. Unfortunately, that only lasted like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden it wouldn't wake up anymore. And the TV didn't change, and I don't think the PlayStation changed. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Also, I really don't understand why your television firmware means that the PlayStation can't wake up from the sleep mode. Like, I don't understand how that is at all connected. I am not a scientist. I do not understand these electronics. But that is one of the things that Sony says can cause the PlayStation to not wake up from the sleep mode. So there's been another PlayStation update for the system software, and so then every time there's an update, I would try putting it to sleep to see if it would wake up again and be normal, and it never is. So I am currently, once again, in the I have to turn everything off to turn everything back on again. Thankfully, Spider-Man doesn't take too long to load. But it is something that made me think that perhaps I might start playing my Xbox One again, because that one will come back to life. That will wake up and I can jump right back into the game super easy. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work for me because I reminded myself, I said, but you love your photo mode and you love sharing awesome game photos on Twitter and sometimes Facebook, and uploading videos to YouTube, and with PlayStation, it just does it directly. You link your account and it automatically directly does it. Whereas with the Xbox One, as I recall, and I don't think they've changed this policy, when you save, it's more annoying to save a screenshot or a video. There's not a dedicated button. But when you do share a screenshot or a video, you have to upload it to like the Microsoft Cloud. Then, once it's uploaded to there, then you can share it to Twitter or Facebook or whatever. But first you have to wait for that to upload. Then you can share it, but as I recall, when I've tweeted screenshots from Xbox games, it tweets a link to the Microsoft Cloud photo that they can view. It doesn't upload the JPEG directly to Twitter, which is the ideal way to do it because it's just an easier way to view the picture. So there's like that extra level of annoying on the Xbox sharing. So even though I have to shut my PlayStation off completely, I still feel like I'm going to want to play games on the PlayStation just for the easier sharing and screenshotting. Especially since so many games now have photo modes. I'm still playing Okami, pushing through. Starting the back half of the game, I guess. I did hit a little snag where I couldn't figure out what to do next, and I decided to just check a walkthrough real quick, just to be like, oh, okay, I need to go there and do this. Because while it's been pretty good about saying, go here and do this, go here and do that, and I figured everything out and done it all, this one was a little bit obscure, and it was like, I needed to go and do something, but I couldn't figure out how to get to the sunken ship because I had to make the water go down and I would make the moon go, but it didn't make the tide go down, and I couldn't figure out, like, what am I doing wrong? Do I need to be in a specific spot to make the moon so the tide goes down? And in fact, you do have to be in a specific spot to do that, but in order to get to that specific spot, you need to have a new skill, which you have to go over there and get. To be fair, I would have eventually explored that island and found that dojo and gotten that skill. It just probably would have taken another hour. So, you know, the walkthrough saved me an hour of gameplay and frustration of wandering around aimlessly going, where do I go now? What do I do next? Help, you know. So, I hate when games do that and suddenly something is, like, not obvious. But, I'm also doing really well with Spider-Man. In fact, weirdly, I feel like I finished the story of Spider-Man, just like with Okami, and it's not done yet. According to the save screen, I am at 70% completion of the campaign. But I you know, the overarching story of Martin Lee and Feast and the whole Devil's Breath and everything. I'm trying to be non-spoiler, even though I'm sure you've all played it and beat it, and I'm behind. I'm always behind. I'm still very careful about not spoiling things when I can. Like, that was like an overarching story that was happening while you were doing other things and, you know, defeating other villains like Shocker and whatever. So it was weird that I finished that storyline and the game isn't over. Now I know that there's still one plot thread that is clearly heading in a bad direction, which I know where that's going, and that's probably going to be the end of the game. But it seems weird that that's the end of the game and not this. Like, I only just finished the story, so I don't know how the story continues to play out. So and it's been so good so far that I feel like it's okay. Like, it'll make sense and it will hold together as a story. It just felt weird that the overarching story didn't last the entirety of the game, and it stopped at like 3/4 of the way through. But I do want to finish Spider-Man because there are so many games out that I want to play. Like, you know, I already want to play Tomb Raider because Tomb Raider is awesome. And I also want to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Plus, there's Assassin's Creed Origins, which also intrigues me, but weirdly is not on sale, even though it's been a year and the next game is out. But now there's Red Dead Redemption 2 has come out. And everyone's raving about it. They're like, oh my god, it's so amazing, it's so pretty, it's so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is super awesome. And I would actually like to play it, which is weird because I don't like Westerns. But I remember when the first Red Dead Redemption came out, I had an appointment. I was still working for Gay Gamer at the time, so I was at PAX East representing Gay Gamer, and I had an appointment with Rockstar. And I was taken into a room, and they're like, here you go, here's a demo of Red Dead Redemption. And I'm like, I don't like Westerns, so you got an uphill battle here. But playing the little demo mission, it was amazing, it was super fun, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is incredible, and I don't like Westerns. So I totally got it when it came out. Unfortunately, like all of Rockstar games, I never finish it because it's just too big, and I get too distracted, and I get too far away from the main storyline that, like, I just completely lose interest in the whole thing. So I'm torn, because while I would love to jump onto Red Dead Redemption 2, I feel like I should probably play something like Tomb Raider, where I know I will finish it, as opposed to Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Red Dead 2, where it's such a huge open world that I'll play it for a few months and then just lose interest. So I'm kind of leaning towards Tomb Raider. But at the same time, I'm like, I could just play Red Dead 2 or Assassin's Creed Odyssey and let Tomb Raider wait until like the new year, and then it'll drop in price. It'll be $20 or something, and because that one will go down in price. Because Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I don't think so, because Assassin's Creed Origins hasn't, even though it's been a year. And Red Dead 2 is clearly going to be full price for ages because it's super popular and whatever. So I'm thinking Tomb Raider is something that would totally go down in price later on, like much sooner than the others. The only game that I can tell you definitively that I am definitely getting next is in a few weeks when that Pokemon game comes out. As long as I'm finished with Okami, I will be getting that Pokemon game. But as for the PlayStation games, you know, not sure yet. So if you have played Tomb Raider or Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Red Dead 2 and you would like to suggest which one I should dive into when I finish Spider-Man, but I still have to save New York first, then I'll move on. And they've already released DLC for Spider-Man, but that's definitely going to wait. I mean, I never did get that DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn, which I also loved, and I really would like to play that. I feel like that should be on sale too. But there's so many new games. How do I go back to these old ones to even play new DLC? So if you have any suggestions, please put them in the comments and let me know if you're playing anything that's super awesome that I should check out instead of another one. And I will see you back here next time where I will talk about more stuff. Maybe I'll finish Spider-Man. Probably not. It's only a week and I don't know if I can do it that quickly. Bye! Plus, I want your suggestions before I finish Spider-Man, so I know which one to pick up next. So, okay, bye! For real!